Boy, oh boy, have I struggled. I've been trying to figure out a way to open up the series of videos about Dr. Timmons' principles of behavior. I've got so much material and I have a lot of animations. I have stories and I have examples. Much of it is already done and it is ready to give to you. The one catch is how to begin. So I decided to take the plunge and we'll spend no more time thinking about how to begin. Let's get started. This is what you'll find in this video. This is not a psychology course. I'll use the law of parsimony to explain things. Dr. Timmons' principles have endured for decades, and we're all amateur psychologists in our own way. Let us begin. First off, let me tell you what this is not. This is not a psychology course. I am not a psychologist. I do not intend to explore the art and science of psychology. There are many fine schools of psychology around the world. You can pursue many different types of psychology. Here's just a list of some that I found on the internet. There are many theories. There are many new areas of exploration, such as human behavior related to teleconferencing, working at home, homeschooling, the metaverse, artificial intelligence, and many, many more. Dr. Timmons' principles of human behavior are based on many principles and findings from the full spectrum of psychology. I am limiting this project to his work, how we got the way we are, how we operate, and how we can operate more effectively. Secondly, Dr. Timmons used the law of parsimony, or the law of economy, to present his concepts, philosophies, and principles. Initially, Dr. Timmons wanted to offer a survey course in psychology, a discussion of the history of psychology and various theories and studies about psychology. This evolved into a presentation of fundamentals about human behavior that could be useful to people who may never study psychology beyond his course. He fashioned lessons that were easy to explain and understand. He used the law of parsimony. The law of parsimony suggests that the best explanation about something is the simplest explanation. You continue to use that explanation until it is not sufficient, and then move on to a more complex explanation to help people understand. With his students and his clients, this is what he did. Dr. Timmons' objective was to give people a rudimentary understanding of human behavior. His ultimate goal was to help them become more effective in understanding themselves and interacting with others. His course at the university was titled The Psychology of Adjustment. That was as good a name as any. It has been over 20 years since Dr. Timmons passed away. It has been over 40 years since we began working together. And it's over 60 years since he graduated with his PhD from the University of Tennessee. Through all these years, Dr. Timmons' principles of human behavior, his behavioral dynamics, have endured well and continue in their usefulness. A lot has happened in the study of human behavior through the decades. Allow me to rattle off a few of the areas psychology has looked at. These are just a few. Neuroplasticity, for instance, concussion protocols, post-traumatic stress. Great strides have been made in understanding neurotransmitters and our brain chemistry. Another area is autistic spectrum, forensics and profiling, dementia therapies, helping older people, helping even younger people with brain injuries, pharmaceuticals that can help people with depression and with bipolar diseases. The nature of consciousness is being discussed. Intelligence theories, for instance, to apply to children in the classroom. And MRI mapping, where we get to see the brain work in real time with different tasks. And there's so much more. These and many more fascinating areas of study continue to grow and help us understand more about what we're up to. These pursuits can help us work and play together better. They add to Dr. Timmons' principles of human behavior. His way of viewing and explaining human behavior provide a foundation from which to explore more deeply the vast complexities of psychology. In terms of the law of parsimony, these further studies are more complex explanations when the simpler ones will no longer be sufficient. I recall hearing it said, "We're all psychologists practicing without a license." That's my fourth point. We create our own hypothesis about human behavior without proper training. We observe our own behavior and that of others, and then we fashion theories about what is going on. We experiment with what we will do and say next. We predict what others will do and say in response to us. We are indeed amateur psychologists. If we can challenge our assumptions and find new perspectives from which to observe and understand human behavior, we can become more effective interacting with each other. We can come up with our own strategies for effectiveness. If we're doomed to act as amateur psychologists, we can better fulfill our roles with some basic principles and fundamental concepts. That is what behavioral dynamics is all about. That is what Dr. Timmons had intended. I'm kind of old school in some ways. One old school rule is tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them. This is what I told you. These videos are not a psychology course. I worked with Dr. Timmons and his behavioral dynamics many, many years. I'm sharing with you what I learned over the decades using his words and my words. I will use the law of parsimony. I'll try to explain the principles and concepts simply. You can help me decide when more complex explanations are needed. Timmons' behavioral dynamics work as well today as they did decades ago. In today's world, they may even be a refreshing approach. It seems we could use a way to understand what's going on and how to interact more effectively with others. These principles have an enduring quality. Finally, people are most often the source of our joy and misery. Our relationships contribute to our delight and happiness and our stress and anxiety. We need to understand ourselves and why we act the way we do. We need to know this about others. Behavioral dynamics is all about understanding and finding our own strategies to become more effective. Up next, the complexity of human behavior. I expect there'll be about 3 videos regarding this topic. That should be interesting. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and share this video with others who might like it. That's all for now, so thanks so much. Bye-bye.